As most of you no doubt already know, Canelo Alvarez has been chasing a fight with Floyd Mayweather for quite a long time now. Probably the past couple of years he's been chasing this fight with Floyd Mayweather, calling him out on a pretty regular basis and whatnot. And late last year, or early this year, don't quote me on that, but I believe it was early this year, Canelo and Floyd reached some type of verbal agreement where they shook hands and they agreed to fight each other in September this year as long as Canelo got past Austin Trout first. And if you remember, Canelo versus Austin Trout was originally supposed to be on the undercard of Floyd against Guerrero. But several weeks before that card was scheduled to go ahead, Team Canelo gave Floyd Mayweather a contract to sign to set in stone the agreement to fight Canelo in September as long as he gets past Austin Trout. And Floyd refused to sign the contract. So Canelo got angry. He said Floyd was going back on his agreement. He removed himself from the Floyd Guerrero undercard and he went to go and fight Austin Trout on his own card. Now at the time I thought, you know what? Maybe Floyd is just being sensible. Right? Maybe he's just being sensible. Maybe he don't want to count all his eggs before they hatch. He just wants to focus on Guerrero. He don't want to look past the Guerrero fight. So he ain't trying to sign no contracts until Guerrero is out of the way. You know, that's fair enough. Yeah, that is fair enough. So obviously, Floyd got past Guerrero, Canelo got past Trout, and last week, apparently, negotiations began between Team Mayweather and Team Canelo for a possible fight in September. And according to Canelo's trainer, I believe it's his trainer, could be his manager, don't quote me on that, but I believe it's his trainer. And I'll leave a link in the description below to the article where you can find all this information which I'm talking about. It's an article on boxing scene, so I'll leave a link in the description below. But yeah, according to Canelo's trainer, one of the demands that Floyd Mayweather is making is that he wants Canelo to come down to welterweight, 147 pounds. He wants Canelo to come all the way down to welterweight to fight him. Team Canelo say that 147 pounds can't be done. Canelo's too big now. You know, he's a young kid, he's still growing. They can't make 147, but according to them, they said to Floyd, okay, let's meet halfway, let's compromise, let's meet halfway between 147 and 154, right? Let's do a catch weight in between. Again, apparently, according to them, Floyd flat out refused to fight halfway between 147 and 154. Floyd is saying it's either 147 or there's no fight, all right? Now, I don't blame a fighter the size of Floyd for wanting his opponent the size of Canelo to come down to 147 per se, right? I can't blame him because Canelo is a lot bigger than Floyd Mayweather, all right? He may not be bigger in terms of height and reach, right? I believe they're around the same height, and in terms of arm length, Floyd may have longer arms. I'm not 100% sure, but he looks like, you know, he may have longer arms than Canelo. So in terms of height and reach, they're pretty much similar. But in terms of natural size and muscle mass, Canelo is a lot bigger than Floyd. All right, he's a lot bigger. Floyd turned professional at super featherweight, whereas Canelo turned professional, I believe, at welterweight. All right, so he is a lot bigger than Floyd Mayweather. If they fought at 154 pounds, Floyd will be giving away anywhere between, you know, 15, possibly 20, but probably closer to 15 pounds on the night. All right, that is a lot of weight to be giving away, especially when you're 36 years old and your opponent is 22. All right, that is a lot of natural weight to be giving away. Nobody wants to give away that kind of weight. All right, some fighters do it. Some fighters are willing to do it, like Martinez did against Chavez Jr., you know, Roy Jones Jr. when he fought John Ruiz, etc., etc. There's many other fights throughout history, but you know, for the most part, no one wants to give away 15 pounds, 20 pounds in weight if they can help it. All right. So I don't necessarily blame Floyd per se for wanting to bring Canelo down to 147 pounds to fight him. All right. And I don't have a problem with catch weights either. I got no problem with catch weights. Catch weights have been going on in boxing for years, for decades. They've been having catch weight fights. I ain't got a problem with catch weight fights. The only time I've got a problem with a catch weight fight is in a situation like Pacquiao Margarito, where they fought at a catch weight, but there was a title on the line. You know, how can there be a title at stake when the title is for a 154-pound championship, but yet you're making your opponent Margarito fight 151, 152 pounds? That's ridiculous. All right, you can't. The championship should have been null and void. It should not have been for a title, right? But a catchweight fight by itself, I ain't got no problem with. They've been doing it for decades. There's no problem with catchweight fights, right? And like I say, I don't have a problem with fighters bringing their opponent down in weight either. Like when Andre Ward fought Chad Dawson, I ain't got no problem with that, right? If at the end of the day, no one is forcing these fighters to come down and fight below their natural weight. No one is forcing them. Yeah, they get offered a fight and they say, okay, but it has to be at this weight. I mean, in Chad Dawson's case, he offered to fight 168 pounds anyway, right? So, but for everyone else, like for example, when Miguel Cotto fought Pacquiao, or even when Margarito fought Pacquiao, you know, these fighters are agreeing to do these things. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if they agree to come down and fight below their natural weight, then they obviously still believe that they're going to be functional at that weight. They obviously still believe that they're going to be effective at that weight. They obviously still believe that they can win the fight at that weight. No one is going to come down and fight below their natural weight if they believe they're going to take a beating. Yeah, no one's going to do that. Only a desperate fighter like some, you know, a journeyman or someone like that is going to do something like that. All right, so no one is going to do it. So all these fighters, even though they're fighting below their natural weight, they still believe that they've got enough in the tank at that weight to win the fight. Right? The excuse that they're weight drained only comes out after the fight if they lose. Then all of a sudden, oh, I was weight drained. You understand? I don't buy that excuse, man. I don't buy that excuse. All right? If you don't feel like you're going to be strong at the weight, don't take the fight. Yeah, it's as simple as that. So I really don't buy those excuses of, you know, fighters saying that they were weight drained after the fact, because they weren't saying they were weight drained before the fight. You get what I'm saying? So I ain't got a problem per se with Floyd asking Canelo to calm down and weight. What I do have a problem with is Floyd being a hypocrite. All right, because as we all know, for years, Floyd was criticizing and attacking Manny Pacquiao constantly for bringing fighters down in weight, bringing his opponents down, draining them. He was constantly attacking Pacquiao for doing all this kind of stuff. But now the tables are turned and he's trying to do the exact same thing to Canelo Alvarez. And it ain't the first time. When Floyd was confronted on camera about a possible fight with Sergio Martinez, and the video's on YouTube, I'll put a link in the description below, he was confronted about a fight with Martinez, and he said, well, maybe we can fight at a catchweight down the line. All right, so Floyd himself is open to fighting at catchweights, despite the fact he's been attacking Pacquiao for all these years for fighting at catchweights. All right, so Floyd is a hypocrite. I don't want to hear no foolish excuses. He's a hypocrite. All right. And yes, like I say, Martinez, a hell of a lot bigger than Floyd. So, you know, ordinarily, I don't have a problem with Floyd fighting Martinez at a catchweight. You don't want to give away 20 pounds or more to Martinez. All right, that's fair enough. But he is being a hypocrite. Yeah. Pacquiao, again, you know, he fought Margarito at a catchweight, Cotto at a catchweight, De La Hoya at a catchweight. These guys was a lot bigger than Manny Pacquiao. Do you understand? Pacquiao's a small guy. Pacquiao's smaller than Floyd. You know, Pacquiao fighting Miguel Cotto at a catchweight is equivalent to Floyd fighting, Canelo Alvarez at a catchweight. I'm losing my words here. Yeah, so Pacquiao fighting Cotto at a catchweight is equivalent to Floyd fighting Canelo at a catchweight. Right? That's the same thing, but Floyd ain't even willing to fight Canelo at a catchweight. That's the thing. He ain't even willing to do what Pacquiao had done. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is where the hypocrisy comes in. Floyd is being a massive hypocrite here, right? But like I say, per se, I ain't got a problem with catchweights. I ain't got a problem with opponents coming down in weight. So yeah, at the moment, it seems like Canelo against Floyd ain't going to happen. And it may never happen by the way things are looking. But yeah, you know, another thing that this shows, right? Mayweather won in the fight at 147. Another thing that this shows is it shows that Floyd is not as confident in his ability to beat Alvarez as a lot of his fans seem to think he is. All right, actions speak louder than words, and Floyd's actions are showing you right now that he is not as confident of beating Alvarez as his fans seem to think, you know, he should be. Right? He ain't as confident in his ability as his fans are. The same goes for the Martinez situation. I've been hearing Floyd fans saying, oh, he would destroy Martinez. You know, Floyd's dad and his uncle coming out saying he'd beat Martinez. Okay, if he can beat Martinez, why is he not fighting him? Yeah, actions speak louder than words. Team Martinez came out publicly several times and called Mayweather out. His promoter, Lou DiBella, came out publicly and gave him an offer. He said, I'll give you an 80-20 split. All right, we'll even fight at 151, 152 pounds. We'll come all the way down in weight and drain ourselves just to fight you with an 80-20 split. All right, Floyd didn't even respond to the opportunity. All right, so Floyd is not as confident as his fans think he should be. All right, Floyd's not as confident in his own ability as his fans are. And the same thing with the Alvarez situation. His fans have been saying he would destroy Alvarez. It's a mismatch, this, that, and the other. Okay, if it's a mismatch, how come Floyd don't want to take the fight at 154 pounds? Floyd obviously don't think it's a mismatch then. All right, if Floyd really believed that it's a mismatch, he'd take the fight at 154 pounds, like he fought Miguel Cotto at 154 pounds. Yes, he'd be giving away a lot of weight. But like I say, if the fight's the mismatch that a lot of people seem to think it is, how come Floyd don't want to take it at 154 pounds? Explain that to me, right? To me, it shows blatantly that Floyd sees Canelo Alvarez as a threat. Yeah, certainly 154 pounds, right? And remember, as soon as Floyd beat Cotto, ridiculously, right, there were certain websites and obviously a lot of Floyd fans were saying that Floyd was the best fighter at 154 pounds. I mean, I said at the time that that's ridiculous. Yeah, he beat Miguel Cotto, who ain't really beat anyone at junior middleweight. And just doing that means that he's the best fighter at 154 pounds? What? It's just another example of how fans, especially, you know, Mayweather fans in this case, get carried away. They get so carried away so easily, right, by these kind of things. If Floyd is not the best junior middleweight in the world, right? He's not. That's a proven fact now because he's not willing to fight one of the top junior middleweights at junior middleweight. He's not willing to do it. So how the hell can you call this guy the best junior middleweight in the world? He's not the best junior middleweight in the world, all right? Floyd is a very good fighter. He's very skillful. You understand what I'm saying? But his fans so often get way too carried away. They start saying all kind of ridiculous and outlandish things like Floyd's the greatest fighter of all time and all this nonsense that has no validity to it at all. Yeah. And again, this is another thing where they're saying he's the best junior middleweight, but he's not even willing to fight a junior middleweight at junior middleweight. So no, he's not the best junior middleweight. He may be the best welterweight. You know, I personally think Floyd, I think he's probably the best he's probably the best welterweight around at the moment. That's what I think. I think he can beat everyone at welterweight. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, opinions don't count for shit in boxing. All right? I've used this analogy before. Imagine if Vernon Forrest hadn't fought Ricardo Mayorga and he'd gone a different direction and he'd fought some other guys and stayed champion for a while longer. Right? When Vernon Forrest beat pound for pound king at the time, I believe he was pound for pound king at the time, number 102, Shane Mosley. You know, he beat him twice in a row. Imagine if he hadn't fought Mayorga. Yeah, years down the line, if someone had come and said, oh, you know, Vernon Forrest was good, but he never fought Mayorga. I think Mayorga could have beaten him. Everyone would jump on that person and say, you're a fucking retard. How the fuck can you say that this wild, swinging, crude fighter Mayorga, who everyone is beating, who Shane Mosley's beaten, who, you know, all these different fighters are beaten, how the hell can you say he would beat Vernon Forrest? Vernon Forrest would box his head off, probably stop him. That's what people would have said. But boxing is rock, paper, scissors, as Dwyer always says. It's chess, it ain't checkers. All right? One fighter does not trump everyone else. Very rarely in boxing does that happen. And when fighters take on all comers, right, that is when you realize that styles make fights. Like when George Foreman blasted out Frazier and Norton in 2 rounds, 2 men who had beaten Ali, no one thought Ali would be able to beat Foreman. Very few people thought he would be able to do so. But Ali did. He knocked him out. Yeah, boxing is chess, not checkers. You get what I'm saying? So Mayweather, I believe he's the best welterweight around at the moment, but I want to see him prove it. Yeah, I want to see him prove it, because, you know, it's only an opinion until the fighters get in the ring and prove it. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'd like to see Floyd, if he don't want to step up to 154 and take on the best at 154, I'd like to see him clean out the welterweight division, right? Fight Alexander, fight Brook, try and get a fight with Bradley if he can. I know that's going to be difficult because with Bob Arum and whatnot, but I'd like to see him clear out the division and prove himself to be the best in the welterweight division. That's what I'd like to see if he's not willing to step up to 147. Whether or not he will do that, I don't know. But that's what I would like to see personally if he ain't willing to step up to 154. As far as Canelo, well, from what I'm hearing, they're negotiating a fight with, or they're talking about a possible fight with Miguel Cotto. I don't like that fight. I think Cotto's finished. I think he's done. And I said a long time ago, you know, way before the Trout-Canelo fight, way before, you know, these negotiations started between Canelo and Cotto, way before Cotto. In fact, I said after Cotto fought Mayweather, I said then that I think Canelo will beat Miguel Cotto. Yeah, I said way back then. And I still feel the same now. I feel Cotto is, he ain't going to beat Canelo Alvarez, and he may well get stopped in that fight. So, I mean, it's an okay fight, but come on. Right? Cotto's coming off 2 straight losses. But I can't really blame Canelo that much, because apparently Lara is going to fight Angulo. There's a couple, you know, fighters caught up in, you know, particular fights. And obviously Canelo wanted to fight Floyd, but Floyd ain't willing to do it at 154. So, you know, it is what it is. He seems to be fighting Miguel Cotto. So, you know, whatever. I'm not super excited for that one, to be honest. I think Cotto's pretty much done. So anyway, this is a long-winded video. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about this. This is Hatman. I'm out.